TikTok. Maybe? Welcome everyone on Instagram. You guys let me know if you can hear me all right. Let me know if you can see me all right. Welcome everyone on Facebook, Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium, and YouTube at Ask Ivy. Perfect. Hello, welcome everyone on TikTok. All right, looks good. We've got one platform moving. Right, again, if you guys could just drop a comment letting me know that you can hear me and see me all right, that would be greatly appreciated. My hair is not going to be cooperating today, I see. And it looks like we've got a couple people already on Facebook and YouTube, but I'm not sure if all three pages are actually working. Okay, all platforms are working. Thank you so much. Can see and hear. All right, Anna, welcome. Vanessa, good to see you guys. And I'm still waiting for some feedback on Instagram, but Instagram is pretty hit or miss. Okay, so I can never really tell how many people are on there. So I'm going to encourage you guys at this time to drop your $10 donation, and I will be delivering out whatever is the most important message for you to hear tonight. If you are on Instagram or TikTok, Diana, my beautiful producer, is going to be posting the directions in the comment section and trying to pin it, but we can't put the payment information in the description the way that we can on YouTube and Facebook and StreamYard, okay? So if you are on Instagram or TikTok, you're going to have to watch in the comments section for her to post that. And I see we have a bunch of early ones already in here. So I would like to get through some quick announcements and then get right into today's messages. I do want to say thank you so much to my YouTube members for your continued support. Edgar Velardes, Me Love 716, Andrea M, Vanessa, Melissa S, Jennifer Cole, Christine Watts, Anna, Miami Heat 305-ish, Angie Johnson, Jill Marie, Lucy Marsh, CJG, Yolanda Fisher, Shauna Dempsey, Denise Bennett, Demetrius, Language Through Connection, Deanna Marie, Marie D, Mary, Chicken Mama, and Tristan Marion. All right, you guys make it possible for me to continue doing these shows every week. And if you really want to support me, I would love to see you here on YouTube at Ask Ivy, wherever you guys are tuning in from. If you could go over there and hit that subscription button. If you do want to become a member for like monthly horoscopes, weekly messages, a monthly email reading, Ask Ivy exclusive shows, a monthly mini class, and more, you're going to hit the join button and it'll show you the 3 different tiers of membership options. I'm schmutzing in here. All right. A couple quick announcements while we let everybody tune in. What do we have going on, Diana? Lewiston Harvest and Hops. There are over 130 vendors. We're talking artists, we're talking breweries, wineries, food, live music. I mean, everything. I'm going to be down there giving readings, and it's not just 130 vendors. It's also all the shops through their main street are going to be open on that day. Actually, 2 days. It's a weekend event. If you want to pre-book a reading with me, you could book up to 3 slots for yourself. Lewiston Harvest and Hops. You can go onto my website to do that, or walk-ins are welcome, but it is first come, first serve. This is going to be this upcoming Saturday and Sunday, from 10 a.m. to whenever we close. On Saturday at 7, we close on Sunday at 5. Okay, so if you want to pre-book on any of this stuff or get tickets I'm about to talk about, Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com. Oakwood Cemetery, my absolute favorite spot during the spooky season and really all year to be doing readings. Oakwood Cemetery Spirits Fair is back again this year. I will be doing a gallery reading in front of the mausoleum at 5 o'clock, and that's included with your ticket purchase. I will be doing private reads afterward in the mausoleum by candlelight under the stained glass windows. Again, you can save your readings now or try your hand at a walk-in. And there are also live musicians. You're getting dinner. I know there's a lot of like different wineries and cider tastings and things going on. They have like trolleys running with like ghost hunts and historical tours and a bunch of other fun stuff. I think this year too, I saw some girl post, oh, I'll be there offering Reiki. So it looks like they brought in some other vendors as well, or at least a healer. So that's going to be amazing. I highly recommend. It's such a fun event. So Oakwood Cemetery Spirits Fair is October 4th. Okay, get your tickets now. It is a ticketed event. We also have coming up Spirits of Allentown walking tour. Okay, Explore Buffalo puts on a great walking tour where their docents talk about the history throughout Allentown in Buffalo. If you're familiar, Allentown's just a really cool spot. Tons of history, and I cover the paranormal aspects of what went on during that time. This always sells out. And right now, just because my availability was limited, we're only offering one date. Okay, so that's going to be October 24th at 5:30 p.m. So get your tickets now. Again, all of this is up on my website. Or you can go to explorebuffalo.com. The psychic mediumship course. I am only running one psychic mediumship course in 2026. So that starts February 3rd. You are going to want to reserve your seat for that now. Registration is now open. You could do that at psychicmediumshipcourse.com or my website, Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com. And is there something? Oh, Fall a Day. Also my Victorian tea. Okay. So only a couple seats left for my Victorian tea gallery reading. And I offer private reads afterward at Margin Manor Winery. So you're going to want to go ahead and get your tickets to that event. You can pre-book your reading with me, but you do still have to have tickets to the event. Okay. People have been like kind of sneaking into different events to get private reads, and like, you know, I don't host all these events. I'm being invited as a guest. So we're going to have to start putting a limit to that. All right. So if you want to get a reading with me at Margin Manor Winery at that Victorian tea date, you have to get a ticket for the Victorian tea as well. And why wouldn't you? Okay. It's amazing. She's got like 4 courses, wine tasting, I'm doing a 1-hour gallery, okay, with private reads after, a ton of fun. So check it out. That's going to be November 23rd. And like I said, I know that one's almost sold out. And Fall a Day. Okay, I think we don't have a pop-up for this right now, but Fall a Day is an event on the Richardson Olmsted campus, which is the old haunted insane asylum. Trying to think of what other words they were using for a psych center. Okay, in Buffalo, New York. So massive, massive property. Most of the buildings are still shut down and we don't have access to them, but some of the properties in the front have been reopened, and we have the Richardson Hotel running out of that biggest part of the property. I'm excited. I'm going to be staying there for the first time. I'm going to be doing like a ghost hunt type tour there. But anyways, getting back to the point. So Fall a Day is this huge market that they've opened up in front of the Richardson Hotel on the campus. And I will be there offering readings. It's going up on my website in the next probably 24 to 48 hours. I have posted it on my social media if you're looking for those dates. I don't have them on me right now. But I will also have readers from the Ivy League Psychic Academy. So my certified readers, psychic mediumship, tarot, and whatnot, they will also be out there on some of the other days. It is an amazing event. I don't even know how many vendors they have, but we're all in these little huts with like lights on them. And you just walk around, okay, and shop and have a great time. So check that out. Pre-booking is open as soon as I get it up on my website for that as well. All right, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to mention. Let's get into this today. Masubi became a YouTube member. Masubi, welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you to anyone who drops kind words, if everyone could, please. Okay, I appreciate anyone who, joins and becomes a member. If you could please hit that like button, drop any type of comment or even an emoji right now in the comment section. It'll help me out in the algorithm. And I would love to hear where you guys are tuning in from. Please let me know right now. Please do share this video. And if you prefer to get a private spirit message from me, you don't want to do it publicly for whatever reason, or you want to gift it to someone else, you can go up onto my website, Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com, and click on Spirit Message. All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a tiny no arrow walk, and this is the Unbound Sage, where you drop a $10 donation and I deliver out to you whatever is the most important message for you to hear right now. This is not my Ask Ivy show, which is every other week, where you get to ask a very specific question. This is an opportunity for you to simply open your heart, open your mind, and listen to whatever the universe has been trying to tell you. All right. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and drop your donation. When you see your name pop up on the screen, that means your message is next. All right. Who do we have first? Diana. All right. We have Maraid. Maraid first. Maraid, what message do I have for you? I have you needing to play a little bit more. There's talk of like taking things, I want to say, too seriously, spending too much time in your head. It almost feels like you were spending even too much time in your heart. So if you were trying in recent months to do a lot of like heart healing, all of this is wonderful. These are things that we need to do, of course, but there also comes a time to just kind of step back and to say, look, I need to stop working. It is exhausting work. When you're up in your head, just overthinking alone is exhausting. Any type of healing is exhausting. And this idea of needing to get out and play, needing to get outside of your head and play, needing to do more playful, or I heard things that feed your sense of abundance. Okay, pampering yourself, self-love, self-care. It's almost like you don't make that a priority. It's as though you make work a priority, money a priority, self-development a priority, your relationships a priority. But what about the relationship to yourself? What about the relationship to your higher mind? What about the relationship to your energy level? Okay. And your spirit and your soul. Like, what about that? So we need to stop minimizing how important it is for you to bring play, positivity, abundance, pampering, nurturing into your life. I also feel like you have a lady here, but I feel like this is a grandmother, and I almost want to say great grandmother. You may have looked more like her, and you definitely think more like her. It's like two peas in a pod. But you also have your joy guide coming in here, who watches over your mental and emotional well-being and your spiritual development. Both of them are talking about putting a book on your path. So if there's a book you've been debating on getting, or you've been wanting to dive into some reading, that is something else where, you may be saying, well, later, or when I'm on vacation, or I don't really have time for that right now. Make it more of a priority. Getting into books for you is almost like, I see reading Rainbow, take a look, it's in a book. I'm reading Rainbow. It's like this rainbow with butterflies coming out of it. It's an escape for you. And right now it's a healthy escape. Okay. So get balanced. You're the only one who can do it. Deanna Marie, what do I have for you? I have you smoking. Now, I don't know if you smoke, obviously I'm going to say the obvious, you need to stop. But this is typically a symbol for stress, and it's coming up on the left side of you, which is the past. So if recent circumstances and situations have been making you feel stressed or like a mouse on a wheel caught up in your head, feeling as though you can't get out of circumstances and or circumstances just aren't really changing, you're being asked to put that down. I'm hearing from a gentleman who comes in here watching over you. He's quite tall. I feel like he's pushing 6 foot, kind of wider in through here, dark hair. He says, this isn't for you to adapt to. And I think what he means by that is like things in your life that you're dissatisfied with, or where you feel like maybe you want to elevate or you welcome change. Maybe you don't even know what kind of change. You just know that you're welcoming change. Like, I want this to change. Into what? I don't know, but I do. It's enough to acknowledge that, you aren't meant to adapt ever to situations that are, he said, dissatisfactory, dissatisfying. Yeah, to you in any way. I think you've been told throughout your past. I have a lot of people yapping at you. It looks like a man. I'm assuming this is a grandfather or a dad. Definitely looks like a mom. I mean, I think you've been yapped at, your entire life, as most of us have, that you need to be more grateful for what you have, or you need to make circumstances work, or, you need to maybe try harder. Or that's just how life is, or welcome to the real world. I hate that saying so much. I will create my real world. My world will be whatever the hell I want it to be. I'm not going to adapt to yours, a world that you hate. So people may have said things to you that made you feel in your programming, like in childhood and, even your probably 20s and 30s, that you had to adapt to the world and the situations. And he's just here to remind you that that is not the story. And that's why you have these urges. And that's why things keep coming up to the surface, sort of begging you to give your time and attention to create like new goals and some fluidity in different directions. I also feel like somebody may be coming in here to help you with stress reduction. I want to say a new friend. Now, this doesn't have to be romantic, but it could be. You could have somebody coming in where you do have past life history. I do feel soulmate, soul tribe connection, which is a work contract, meaning you benefit each other. And this person helps you to put the cigarette down. Now, again, cigarette can be symbolic, okay, of you having unhealthy ways of dealing with stress. But sometimes that's what we need, is for somebody else to come in and show us a new way, and just be open to everything right now. And I want to say the next 4 weeks, okay, in particular, but you are on what feels like maybe more like a 4-month journey of creating new energy. Moving on to Edgar V. Edgar V, what do I have for you? I have some nervousness in the stomach, almost like a clenching. At first, I thought it was butterflies, which can be maybe romance. It can be a crush. It can be when your crush talks to you. It can also be a dysregulated nervous system. So if your crush is someone who's like not consistent with you, you're getting breadcrumbed, you're having intermittent positive reinforcement, that's going to lead to flipping stomach, a dysregulated nervous system. I think that what's happening here, though, is that you want out of that. And this is more, I'm not hearing it from you. I'm hearing it more from your higher mind. If your higher mind has been confronting you and asking you why it is that you want that dopamine hit, you want that next moment of attraction, interaction with someone or people in general who give you the stomach flip. Like, what is it about you that wants that? You're hooked, okay? You're kind of like a junkie. You're kind of like an addict to this unfulfilling. It's like an unfulfilling prophecy. It's like an unrequited love. It's like it's a disappointment. It's like you want the high, and you in some way love the low. You just have to at some point in your life admit to this and be like, you know what? I really don't think it has anything to do with these people that I have a crush on. I really don't think it has anything to do, with these, this sort of dopamine hit and adrenaline rush that I get from interacting with them, trying to convince myself that it's chemistry. Okay. That is synergy, that there's something more going on. You're recognizing there probably isn't, but it's the hit itself. It's the high and the low that you're actually addicted to. So, it's something that you have to look at now, as things are changing for the next, I want to say, week. You have about 1 week to figure this out, but things will be changing in about 2 weeks with that. And it's important that you get it right. Okay. We're going to move on to Donique S. Am I spelling that right? Donique S. Okay, with a W-N. Donique S. Donique, what do I have for you? I have you like not caring at all. It's kind of hilarious. I have the world burning down and falling down and buildings crashing and tower moments and people screaming and everything going on behind you. And you're just like skipping. It's like skip to my Lou, I hear. Like a kid, which is like, I think, a children's rhyme, right? Skip to my Lou, my darling. You're like skipping out into this field of wildflowers, and you're picking all these wildflowers. You're just like enjoying yourself and ignoring it. I mean, what else are you going to do? So Esmeralda Marie Rivera, everyone, can you say hi, Ezzy? No, she's going to stick her butt in my face, though. Happily. Can you sit down? Can you sit down over here? Sit down. Oh, meow. Just not on the computer. Okay. So, I'm going to add on a little time to your message here, Donique. I'm not going to cut you short. Anyways, this image of you being like, I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to focus on what matters to me, right? Instead of giving out to everyone and everything around you and all the demands of the world and all the chaos, half of which or more these people caused themselves, right? You're not doing it. And I think that's brilliant. I think that it's also a little bit new for you. And I think that when you're new to really centering yourself and tuning other things out, you can hit a point where you start to see people's reactions to that and be a little stunned. It's kind of like that meme, that says, I decided to mind my own business and it still pissed everyone off. It could be a combination of that. But it may also look a lot like people trying to more forcefully suck the life out of you, the attention out of you, the energy out of you. Okay. So, this is like dealing with people who are trying to get your attention and you're simply not, giving it your boundaries are in alignment. And the next thing you know, they're texting you or they're calling you or, it's an emergency. They have to talk to you. They have to get access to you right away. That's a big old middle finger. Okay. That's exactly what that is, because it is a blatant disrespect to a boundary that you have set. So you're going to be seeing some true colors come out. I mean, what this really is for you is a period of time of like revelation. It's not just you honoring yourself and reaping all the benefits from that and the universe being in alignment with that and saying kudos to you. It's also new level, new devil. There's a free mini class up here on my YouTube channel at Ask Ivy called Fighting the Dark, where I talk about every time you level up, there are 5 different points of attack that come in. This is also a time where you need to be careful. I talk about it in that free class about letting in new friends or lovers. Be careful for lovers, because if you have a lover, or whoever you let into your bed, let's say, who is trying to control you, it's going to come to the surface. So you're going to see some interesting behaviors from this. Keep doing you. The blessings are coming and a lot of truths being revealed here for the next 2 to 3 weeks. We have Anna is next. Anna P. Anna P. What am I getting for you? You have a grandmother coming through mom's side of the family. Forceful personality. She was pretty direct in her speech. She's not mincing words. She is also not constantly looking for the microphone, so she's not a pontificator. But if she could get that mic, she was definitely going to make good use of it. So I feel like she had a lot to teach on. And I feel like there was a lot of wisdom that she didn't necessarily get out as much as she wanted to the world. I feel like you're taking on a lot of her work. So if you've been entering into a period with your career or even taking a look at your life contract and saying, I need to do this in whatever way I choose, but I know I need to be speaking more, teaching more, communicating more, leading more. I need to be healing people more, again, through communication mostly, possibly also energy work. But you have this almost elder position, this mentor position you're moving into. Now, I'm not saying you have to quit your day job and go out and become a life coach or a spiritual life coach, but there is this element of motivation for others, helping other people to see how they can empower themselves and how they can pick up their own healing, right? I do think that you're surrounded also by a bunch of weak links. So she does not mince words. If you kicked a bunch of trash to the corner or kick the can to the trash, or you do like just kick it on down the road, like get rid of people have been coming at you, especially like wanting to be a romantic partner or wanting to be like intimate friends or whatever it is. And they just want you to do the work for them. If you look at the past pattern for at least the last 3 years, but definitely the last year and a half, you would see that with people who approach you and really want to be around you a lot, they're sucking up all that energy from your healing abilities, your speaking and teaching and communicating abilities that you're not getting paid for. You should have been charging these people, you should have been. But it was almost like you were practicing on them. And she just wants you to see clearly what happened. Okay. But they may be coming back around and be like, act like they want to heal. You offer them the healing solutions and they're like, oh yeah, but I'm not going to pick that up and do it for myself. Why don't you just do it for me? If you know how to do it, why don't you just do it for me? Okay. It's an ick factor. It's a sign of manipulation and bigger problems. And I think you're ready to start getting paid for it one way or another. But you do get it from her. Ayana, what do I have for you? Ayana, it feels like you're entering into a period of time. I keep hearing spring, which can symbolize like new beginnings. This could be a period of, newness in your life in all areas. I'm seeing the number 5, which is significant of change in literally all areas of your life going on simultaneously. This is coming up in the next couple months. So you're going to be feeling like, again, you're in that new life, okay? Out with the old and in with the new. I do think one of the things that's really important for you is to start organizing now. There are some things you're great about organizing. There are other things that haunt you. It's almost like a nagging feeling or a dark cloud over your head, a monkey on your back. You can't even pinpoint it, whether it's waking you up at night or it's nagging at your brain. Like, don't forget to do this. Don't forget to do this. We need an answer to this. What are you going to do about this? I think you need to stop right now and get ready for that period of time ahead. But if you want to maximize the blessings of that new time ahead, you need to get organized now. And this is just I feel like this is a collective message as well. Anytime we have something nagging at us, waking us up in the middle of the night, causing nightmares, just popping into your head, it's clearly something that is causing fear. And you're avoiding it is not helping. You're feeding it with more fear by avoiding it. So if you have questions that need to be answered, you need to go get those answers. If you need to talk to a professional about how to best go forward with things, then speak to that professional, get it booked, but it is time to get organized where all that stuff that nags at you is put out of your head so that you are a sort of like wide open, clean vessel, okay, of fluidity. I think there's going to be a lot to celebrate ahead, but you don't want to bring in old baggage. All right. So now is the time. I still have Ayana's name up here. Donique says, this is exactly what's going on. I'm seeing so many people's true colors and I'm just turning off my phone and going to the lake. Thank you for sharing that testimony. Anyone else, please do share in the comments how this message is resonating with you. Remember that a lot of these messages are something that you haven't seen. So, it may be coming up or it's something that's been buried. So maybe it's not all going to hit right at this very moment, but certainly for Donique, it did. And it is really important that you pay attention to that. Yeah, because true colors coming out, can be something that we want to hold space for or kind of overlook or think, well, that's not really my problem, but it certainly will be if you let it in. So kudos, good for you. Going to the lake and hiding out. I love it. You can always trust the water to make things right. All right, we are moving on to Shauna D. Shauna D, what do I have for you? I feel like you're going through a period of time where you're getting rid of some stress. It feels like skeletons in the closet, unfinished business, stuff swept under the carpet, things put up on a shelf collecting dust, conversations that haven't been had and conversations that haven't been complete in the last week and a half to 2 weeks. These things have been coming up to the surface. You could call this a pivotal point. This is an opportunity for you to either get stuff done your way because it is on a deadline, or the universe will take over and the universe will be like, okay, we're going to do it my way. We never really want to do that. I feel like you've been taking the upper hand. I feel like you've been taking the wheel, so to speak, and you've been steering things in your life. I want to say in a direction where you feel you're being heard, you're being seen, you're being respected, and the way you want your life to be, your day-to-day lifestyle, your position at work, you in relationship to others, you want it to be more validating. And that's what you've been pushing for. I feel good about this. I do feel like in doing all of this, maybe you weren't doing it for stress reduction. Maybe you were doing it for other reasons. You wanted to feel good. You wanted to feel better. You wanted to feel like your relationship to money and work and other people and even yourself was healthier, but it did reduce stress. It's like now, this week coming up, you're going to be looking at things and saying like, wow, I feel like such a weight is off of me. I didn't even know I was feeling heavy, or that problem that was bothering me, or that physical ailment. And I can't prescribe or diagnose, but like, where's that been the last couple days? It's gone. Why is it gone? Because you got these other areas in check and in balance for yourself. So that's a beautiful thing. I think that you need to pat yourself on the back. I think you need to recognize the good work you did, but also how the heck did you do that? Because we don't stop enough when something gets fixed in our life, because we live in such a quick paced world. We tend to be like, oh, it's fixed. Well, that's good. On to the next, no. How did you fix that? You could teach it to others. Eventually, you can also apply it to other areas of your life. So you have mastered this skill. It feels like a new mastery, of course. It's very new, it's fresh, it's young, but of creating balance and demanding, claiming the reciprocity that you deserve, not settling for less, and therefore healing your body, healing your mind, de-stressing. It's magic, I think that what's also going on is that you may have more meaningful conversations coming up this week. So I would expect some heart-to-hearts. It may go a bit beyond a week. And I have I don't know if this is an ex trying to reach back out to you, but it feels like a lot of lovers trying to talk to you and be like, I just wanted to reconnect, so everyone's kind of feeling this flow of energy from you and just wanting to touch home base. So that's going to be interesting. Maggie B. Okay, Maggie B. On Facebook. What do I have for you, Maggie B? I think you're a little bit stuck, and I'm not saying that you're necessarily drinking a ton, but I do get this image of guzzling down quite a bit of wine, and whenever I see it exceed the 2 glasses, which it is here, it starts to suggest avoidance and escapism. Now, this is a symbol, so if you're not literally doing that, understand what Spirit is saying here. You are in an avoidant and escapist period of time in your life. This is a choice that you're making to not process the way you're thinking and feeling and the truth and reality of some situations, including a relationship. And so then you don't have to make a move. You don't have to go forward. You don't have to make a decision. It's like, if I just keep avoiding it and treading water, then there isn't really a problem. I'm not really rocking the boat. The thing is, you are rocking the boat. Escapism and avoidance does rock the boat more than any decision. Even if it were to be the wrong decision, even if you were to make a mistake, the universe will work more with that and being like, okay, let's reroute you. Let me help you. We're a little off. Let's tweak it. But when you're avoiding and escaping, it's like the universe pulls back and says, look, if you're not going to do your part, I'm not going to do mine. The universe is like your parent, and you have to hold yourself accountable. You are responsible for doing the labor, and then the universe will assist. All right. And they're not going to enable you in any way. So there is some processing that needs to happen here. And if you've been feeling like other areas of your life are stagnant, if they are, you're seeing a decrease, if things are, falling apart or just not healing in the way that you had hoped. And this is, kind of all areas. It would be any areas where you're experiencing that. This would be at the root. And so you don't want to categorize everything in life and say, well, we have relationships over here and money over here, and like, my health over here, and these things aren't meeting each other. It's a spider web. Everything is connected. So if there's a gap in one area, the whole web is going to be affected. And you're being asked to look at that. Okay. Also, start tracking your dreams better, because it seems like the last couple weeks, a lot of this has been coming up in your dreams, which can also suggest you're really trying not to deal with it when you're awake. Okay. And that includes even if you spoke to a therapist or you tried to do something therapeutically with it. We're still kind of missing the mark a little bit. All right. Anne-Marie DeLaura. Anne-Marie DeLaura. Anne-Marie DeLaura, what do I have for you? I have you wanting to, I want to say quickly kind of, move forward. I have you dealing with some stress coming at you. This is currently, and trying to figure out the best way to process that with a focus also on increasing your resources, your investments, your finances. So there's kind of a lot going on here all at once. I think that one of the important things to know is that you are doing a great job in regards to not allowing stress to take you under. If in the past you have felt something you could not resolve right away, would cause you, a ton of, whether it's like sleepless nights, headaches, overeating, whatever it is, you want to go drink too much, you want to, pick up the cigarettes, whatever it is. It's like, if that has been the storyline in the past, you are now like, I don't even care. I am here for it. Like, whatever happens, happens. It's really kind of looking a little bit like water off a duck's back. And so it's like the waves will come, but if you're a duck, it's like, I'm riding this wave, I'm like a surfer. The wave just went past me. It's going past me. And I think that's really something to celebrate. You may also need to acknowledge that you've accomplished this, and there is going to be a call for you to kind of give it out to other people. So if people say to you like, wow, you never seem to like lose your shit, you always seem to be well balanced. You're like, well, it's not magic. It isn't like life isn't happening to me or at me or for me. It's happening, but I'm centered. I've gotten there. I've achieved this. And it is something you need to be giving out to others, or at least healing energy from that place. Okay. I'm getting this elder position with you. I do think you may be called to put either money down. This is an investment. This could also be putting your time down, your skills, your resources, any resources down on a couple things that are coming forward. This is your free will zone. So I cannot give a 100% guarantee on what you're going to do or what other people are going to do. But as of today, highest likelihood, you have a couple offers coming your way. These are coming in awfully quick. I would say as soon as I'm hearing 2. Could it be 2 days? It could. I was going to say the next 2 weeks, but to about a month and a half. And what may happen here is that if you are going to take these opportunities, it is going to be an investment for you. It will, even if it brings in some stress, don't forget you can ride those waves, okay? Like a duck, your little feet paddling under the water. No one sees how hard a duck is working. Okay. But you will be able to level up significantly. And it may be the thing or the things that free you to have more of that mobility that we started this message with. Okay. That you really, really want. And we still have Anne-Marie Delora up on the screen. So Diana, as soon as I say a name out loud, you're going to take that name down and you're going to put up the next name. Okay. All right. Next up is Melissa S. All right. Melissa S. What do I have for you? I have you grading papers, which can mean that you are in the teaching field. I mean, obviously that's typically how that goes, but this can also be just symbolic. So take it how it resonates of you looking at a lot of paperwork or information and passing judgment on it. This is something that comes up slightly to your future. So I feel like in the next few weeks, you're going to be looking at that pile of papers and you're going to be like, okay, I have to pass judgment on this. I have to pass judgment on this. I have the ultimate approval or disapproval, da, 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 da. And it's not that it's hard for you to do. It's just maybe I heard mundane, or it may be getting like tiresome. There may be a lack of fulfillment in that, so you may be examining with your life and in your work, how much of that you really plan to be doing in the future. I think there's a lot of questioning going on right now about what else you could be, what else you could do, how much more there is to do beyond this. I think that, one of the things that may also be happening is that somebody is coming to you, someone in a position of authority. This could be anyone you've shared resources with, or like, a boss even. Someone's coming to you and they're saying something about restriction. And maybe you thought that when they came to you, they would be like offering you something or offering expansion. And instead, what they say is there's going to be like 3 more restrictions, 2 of the same, 1 of different. And you're like, oh, hell no. Like, this is the opposite. This is the opposite. But I do feel like you've done a lot of pushing down. You've done a lot of, how do I want to say this? You have a refusal, to examine, especially the last 2 years. You've had a refusal to examine what is really going to bring you the most fulfillment. You had a lot of other things going on, rightfully so. You got those things addressed. Now it's time to address this. Okay. And that may be sort of, the straw that broke the camel's back, or, that may have already started happening where someone's putting restrictions on you and you're like, I already felt restricted, So taking a look at your life contract and really figuring out what the next step is going to be for you to feel more fulfilled is key right now. Mackenzie M. What do I have for you? I have you dealing with relationships, and this is coming up slightly to the future here. So within the next week and a half or so, there could even be something coming up at 6 days, 7 days specifically, where maybe somebody asks you like to go out for a drink, so whether this be like a friend, a girlfriend, maybe someone saying like, oh, let's go out and, I don't know, have a wine and catch up, or something like this. You tend to be looking at your relationships and really needing to examine whether or not they're balanced. You may feel a little bit confronted with where you haven't been putting in enough. And that doesn't mean that you're not like a good listener, or that you don't check on your friends, that you're only there for the good times. Like, you are a genuine friend. You're the real deal for sure. But there is some questioning here about maybe how much you prioritized those types of relationships instead of maybe like centering a romantic partner, or centering your work, or centering almost like problems in your life, instead of investing more, I want to say, in the positive nature and aspects of these relationships. So there's examination going both ways. You are looking at your relationships as a whole. This may include even friends that you would put more in an acquaintance category, but there is some intimate exchange of information. You're looking at these relationships, and this includes love, and you're saying, okay, this is what's balanced. This is what isn't. This is where I think I need to be spending more time and giving more in the future. And you're doing an honest examination of yourself. You're accepting the fact that the mirror is right up in front of you, and you're knowing that maybe some relationships in the past failed because you accepted less than what you deserved, or you didn't give where you should have, so it's almost like you're reordering everyone and you're reordering everything. And it's like this, or these types of people in my life that I would have like sort of demoted or I never allowed really in, they should have been way up here. I did this wrong, so there's going to be some reassessment here. Esmeralda, Ezzy agrees. Okay, and that's going to be important here for a while. You want to come up here? Or you want your catnip? Okay. Get her some catnip. Beep, beep. Just spray this, and she'll like roll around in it for like an hour and just get high as a kite and be a happy lady. Yeah. All right, we got some balls for her too. All right, let's move on to Elena C. What's it gonna do to me? Am I gonna start like hallucinating cats or something? Elena C. Elena C, what do I have for you? I have you cooking, and this is really interesting because I don't think this is literal. Take it out, resonates. Lucy Marsh, thank you so much. I see you baking things, and this is symbolic, I'm assuming, for the most part. Okay, if you do love to bake, so be it. That's great. But this is coming up slightly to the future, so I want to say in the next couple weeks. I see you baking things like breads, different types of breads. And bread is always in my symbol base about money. It's about prosperity. It's about resources. Okay. But when we see different types of bread like this, like some has like blueberries in it, I'm seeing other things and other ones. I think blackberries and raspberries. These are also symbolic of money. Okay, cash value, like right away, straight up, cash in hand, money that you can use because it's fruit. It's come to fruition. The labor has already been done. The harvest is already here. It's ready to eat. The fact that I see you baking these loaves, and I don't know if you're familiar with the old children's tale. This was my favorite when I was a kid. Mother Hen. Okay, if you're not familiar, go look it up. I don't know how old you are, but Mother Hen. Mother Hen basically had every random animal on the farm coming, around to eat her bread. But when she was growing it and when she was cutting it down and when she needed to take it to the mill to be turned into flour, none of those animals wanted to help her. And now all of a sudden, she's sitting at the table with her chicks, and they've got butter and jelly, and they've got this fresh baked bread, and everyone's at the window, right? Every chicken and goat and pig, they're there asking for a slice. And she's like, no, this is for me and my chicks, because where were you when? Okay, all these other things. Anyways, that's your story. That's the story you're about to enter into right now. So does that mean be greedy? No. But when you are entering into a period of prosperity, every bottom feeder in town knows it. They know it before you even know it, okay? People read energy, and humans are incredibly skilled psychically, okay, at knowing when someone's going to come into money, or they're going to have a lovely home, or they're going to have stuff that others want, right? They want to ride those coattails. And you may find yourself in a period in your life where not only is the money good, but you are being seen as a brand. You're being seen by the world around you, not just as someone with like a skill set and an education, or tools or a great resume from your work, but also as someone with character and integrity. And, these are invaluable ways to be seen and tools that you can use as leverage in the world. So anyone trying to come to you who feels maybe entitled to ride those coattails, that needs to not happen. Enjoy what you have created here. And enjoy it with people who do deserve it. I would also say, and I'm getting this as a general message for everyone, be careful for friends who don't celebrate with you. I dumped someone a year ago because they would hear about something great going on in my life. No matter how much I ever celebrated for them, they would act like they didn't hear me. If I said, oh, this good thing happened, they would literally pretend they didn't hear me. And you got to be real careful, and she did eventually admit a couple times that she was jealous, but that is dangerous. I think we don't understand how truly dark and toxic that is. And for anyone who is leveling up, because we've gotten this with a few people tonight already, you're either doing it right now, you just did it, or you're about to. Pay attention to the way people in your circle react to that news, or do they not have a reaction at all? Okay, that almost says even more. Okay, let it go. Let them go. It's unfortunate, right, in the human experience that when we go through grief, like a loss of a loved one or something like this, we also go through the grief of figuring out all the people who don't show up for us during that time. And when we go through level up and we just want to celebrate, we also have to go through grief of realizing who didn't show up to celebrate with us during that time. So hopefully that doesn't go on our entire lives, hopefully we get smarter and better at this, but it seems to be a never-ending story. All right, we're going to move on to Lucy. I do want to stop real quick before I do Lucy here. I want to say welcome, everyone. If you're tuning in late, this is the Unbound Sage, where you drop a $10 donation and I deliver out to you whatever is the most important message for you to hear at this time. If you want to do this privately or you want to gift a spirit message to someone else, you can go onto my website at Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com and click on Spirit Message. Also, you could book a private reading with me. Up on my website, I do work internationally. And if the time zones don't work with you for whatever reason, you can also book a video reading. Please give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment of any kind if I didn't already ask you to do that. Thank you. All right, Lucy, what do we have for Lucy? Lucy, I feel like you just leapfrogged. I feel like you just did a leapfrog over some situations or circumstances that maybe you were told were going to take a while, or you were thinking were going to take a while. So it could be like, well, I better hold on. This is going to be like 2 more months. So this is going to be 8 months before I can do this. And it's like, no, you just jumped over all of that. So what happens now is that we're entering into a period of time where things may be not only very fluid, but moving very quickly. Okay. Rapid movement. I think this is, as we go forward, ballpark a week and a half, you may be confronted with this inner voice, and there may have been some male in your life from the past who put that there, who said things to you. But someone who was fear-based, maybe they didn't even say it to you about you, but the way they talked about their life was that way. So this would be the equivalent of having a toxic parent or family member who just was always talking negative. Even when an opportunity came around, it's like, well, this is going to be stressful. Well, I don't know how the hell I'm going to manage all of this. Oh, great. One more thing, and it's like, oh, it seeps in. Okay. It seeps in. So it seems like you have this part of your brain that gets triggered. It's like all this positivity, all this fluidity, all this movement, all this speed. And you're turning into a little bit of a deer in the headlights. You're like, well, how am I going to do it? Don't worry about any of that. Okay. When things are moving this fast and the universe has its hands on this much of your life, all you need to do is kind of ride that wave. You also have a couple people showing up who are going to help you. One who seems like, I can't tell if this is romantic. I mean, I would say that it probably is, but it may also be someone you consider more of a friend. Sometimes we get involved with people and it feels almost like a situationship, not in the toxic way, just in the way that we don't want to label it, or we don't know how to label it, or we really can't right now, so you get both benefits, but it can feel messy. That's fine. It still is beneficial. So this person, and then what also feels like a female coming in here who's like a friend, someone who seems to almost kind of have a lot of stability though, and they know how to handle. I'm getting a lot of Virgo energy there. They may know how to handle things like this really well. It seems like you're going to have the help that you need. Okay, to just, what's another way to say this? Don't forget to rely on other people, okay? Even when things are going right. And this is another level up message. This is getting ridiculous, you guys. This is really, really good. I don't remember the last time I saw this for this many people. Another level up message. Okay, so even when we level up, we can't act like it isn't stressful. It is. But don't forget, the universe is giving you who and what you need to navigate that as well. Enjoy. Vanessa, if anyone else is having like a level up this week, just did, or thinks there may be one coming in, please drop it in the comments. I would love to hear where everybody's at right now in the collective. Vanessa D, what am I getting for you? I have a microphone going up in front of your face, someone taking the volume on what looks like a stereo or a record player and turning it all the way up. Maybe you're getting into DJing. Okay, probably not. Okay, but this is symbolic of you singing, okay, more to the tune of your authenticity, your higher mind, your true self. This is about you having more fun and sort of dancing in your spirit, maybe dancing literally, but dancing. I'm hearing from your ancestors here, like getting down, like she's getting down. And what that's going to mean to me is like, in almost like a tribal kind of way, you're really cutting loose. You're really letting loose in your soul, and you're shaking loose some, maybe old baggage, and it's bringing in a lot of happiness and joy and fulfillment. And if there are people in your life or situations in your life that have been dragging you down, you're just kind of like not caring, you're just sort of tuning them out. It's like, this dance isn't for you, I just feel you like dancing around everyone. And it's kind of hilarious because I'm seeing this video of the hell, I was on TikTok, and it was this girl in this awful tube top. I mean, it was really a whole Winnie the Pooh situation going on. She had this tube top on, and she was just dancing, and you know how it is when you go out to the club. There's always like some gross guy trying to like grind up on you, and so it was like disgusting. And it was hilarious because she was just like dancing and dancing and dancing, and he just kept trying to like come closer to her and come closer, and she just like didn't even see him. It was hilarious. And I have to fix TikTok. But I'm just going to keep talking while I do this. It's like, this is you, you are dancing through life. And if there has been a literal male, okay, in your life who's been dragging you down, if there has been anyone in a position of authority, this could be where you have shared income. Okay, I think I fixed it. This could be like where you have shared income or shared, responsibilities, shared resources of any kind, all that stuff. You're not letting that have an effect on you in the way that you may have in the past. And there's a sense of liberation here. And I just see you like tap dancing. It's almost like tap dancing. It's like an Irish jig or something, and it's like tap dancing on the grave of all of your, I don't know, old enemies and stressors and, stuff like this. I think this is a period of time for you to really focus on that feeling, that inner like liberation, and to feed it more. What we feed, we get more of, because even if you have been going through some difficult times or transition, you have to admit that this is there. It is there, and it feels good. I love this for you. Hunter Santiago. Let me check something real quick. Good. Hunter Santiago, what do I have for you? You're being moved up. You're being another level up. This is nuts. Like, what is going on? So it's the eclipse season. I don't know if everyone just let go of a bunch of, what am I always saying? If we want to manifest, we don't start using the manifestation techniques. We do block removal first, then use the manifestation techniques, right? So, I mean, it looks like this is what collectively a lot of you have done. I feel like what's happening with you here, okay, is that you're entering into a period of time where you may be asked to lead more, train, organize, management. This could be anything in regards to, I want to say, a title increase, definitely a pay increase, but it could also possibly bring with it some type of like schedule increase. I don't know if you're loving every aspect of this, but I do also feel though like you would have more like sick days or downtime, off time, paid time off, something. So it may all kind of balance itself out, but you seem to be, not only being offered contracts, situations, a position that can make your life more comfortable. You seem to be more in charge in general. So if you're doing anything also with like independent contracting, self-employment, entrepreneurship, business ownership, consultant work, this is really where you're getting your foot in the door, and you're getting either access to the right opportunities to go more in that direction, and or the contracts that would make it more comfortable for you to stay there and to continue to do this type of work. So keep your mind open. I do have someone trying to come back in here with you on a side note. So it seems like someone from your past is trying to come back in. I'm assuming this is an ex, but I don't know. I feel like I have an ex, and then I feel like I have someone else where it never actually became a relationship, but you can't really lie about those types of things when energetically it was a relationship. Sometimes these things just happen accidentally, even without us putting the label on them. And that to me suggests past life connection, where you already had in a past life a significant bonded relationship. You could see some people coming back from your past trying to, I'm hearing get back in, but like, I don't know really what they want, because they don't know what they want. And I don't feel good about people approaching you, especially after all this time, without like even knowing why they are. That suggests that they need to go back and work on themselves a little bit, so just be careful with that. Nakia Cook, what am I getting for you? I have you very peacefully walking down to the water, and I see you like putting your feet in the water. You could say the ocean. I see you picking up conch shells, and it's sort of like, I'm listening. What is the universe telling me? Oh, nothing. Oh, okay. Well, good. Then I'll just check that later, and being at peace with that. And the first thing that's going to suggest is ease with your spiritual development and your higher mind and your connection to the universe. A lot of people are like crusted in crystals, and they're flipping cards a few times a day, and they're paranoid they're missing it, and they do these deep meditations. You don't need to do any of that. Okay. It's either you shift and listen on the right side of your brain, and there's something there the universe wants to tell you, or there isn't, And if you really get confused, you can attend this show. All right. And we'll find out what the message is. But it's like you're getting to a place of being at peace with that. You're like, if I listen in the seashell and there's nothing there, then it is what it is. It will come to me. I am confident in my psychic ability. I'm confident in my mediumship. I'm confident that I am mindful and paying attention to what the universe is trying to tell me. It's not going to go over my head like maybe it used to, in the past, especially in regards to relationship dynamics that may be changing right now. And in particular, possibly a romantic partnership. But I also think that you're getting ready to set sail, because behind you is a lot of ruckus. It's like a bunch of pirates, running out of the woods and being like, coming at you like looking for treasure or something, or you're just not having it. I think you're done with a lot of drama. You're letting it fall behind you. It doesn't fit anymore. You would never entertain at this point in your life some of the things you would have entertained even a year and a half ago. I mean, it's laughable. And you see the ship coming, and you're like, that's my ship. Like, I can get on this. I can go at any time, if I want to. And you're just sort of taking one last look and letting the waves come over your feet and listening one last time to the seashell. Are there any messages, last messages? No, here I go. And I see you getting on the ship. What does this mean? Well, symbolically, it means that you are entering into a new period of your life. And it is something that you've achieved through a lot of labor. you're leaving old karmic lessons behind, some that were there for like 3 past lives even, and you're done with a lot of old habits and things like that that were connected to it. And the new life for you may bring changes across the board. So we could be talking residency, career, relationships, health, da 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 da. Okay, so really everything. And it's a great place to be. Okay, very exciting. I also don't think like you have to steer the ship or do all the captaining or whatever. I mean, you are the captain of your ship. It's your ship, but it's nice that you have like laborers on there to do that work. So that can suggest also that if you've been going through a period of hardship where like you've been pulling all the way, you're like a freaking donkey, you know what I mean? Like how much more can we put on this donkey's back? You're entering into a period of time of like luxury. I love that. Tanya R. Okay, Tanya R. What do I have for you? I have a feather coming in here and sort of dusting out some old things in your hearing. This can suggest that you are letting go, that the universe is assisting you in letting go, or that it's up to you to let go, but the universe has already done the work in helping you to release certain thoughts in your head that aren't beneficial, certain programming that has been there a long time that you've adopted. This idea of a feather clearing out from the left side is not only clearing out the past from your head, okay, and the things that you've heard, but now the stories you tell your own self. This can be other versions of you, like your inner dialogue, with yourself. So you may be paying more attention to that in the upcoming ballpark 3 weeks to 4 months, where it's like, oh, I caught that thought. And it's like, why did I think that? Or why would I talk to myself like that? Or where did that come from? Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a process, but it's already started. I also feel like it's preparing you to give out more to other people. So if you want to be in a position, I heard of a greater resource. If you want to be a resource, meaning you're the resource, okay, you want to be a great resource for people, like they come to you for advice or guidance or education or healing or wisdom, right? A roadmap. If you want to be that, it's time for you to become that by clearing this out. This is another message of block removal for manifestation. No doubt about it. Okay, so let it happen. Pay attention to the process of what's happening with that. And also put enough energy, okay, into, because you can be in 2 different places at the same time, and you will be, and you already are. But, put enough attention into what you want to be for people. So it's kind of like saying, I want to offer healing to people. And a lot of that is happening these days because we see the state of the world, and, not only that it's like burning down in the revolution, but also that people are finally receptive. And so we're like, okay, well, I want to do it. I'm ready to go. But how, in what way? Well, how are you ready to go? And are you ready to go? So you don't really fully decide that, right? The universe decides whether or not you're ready to go. You decide whether or not you're going to do the work to be ready to go and to be available in that position. I think there needs to be more examination on what exactly it is that you want to offer. Not for the rest of your existence, but like right around the corner, like soon. All right. People do seem to be coming to you for some type of like verbal reassurance and to assist them in clearing their energy fields as well. So you may start to attract in like your client base, your business, your ministry, call it whatever you want. Just even people on the street who are like chaotic. They come to you with chaotic energy, and it's like, well, I got this going on and that going on and this going on and that going on. And Tuesday this happened, and then my sister had this car accident, and now I have to take care of her kids, and da 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 da. And you're just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, we need to clear some stuff out of the way, and you're assisting them in that movement. Okay. It'll make more sense as you go forward. But right now, let go. Also, the left side, I just want to, if I didn't already say it, the left side is also, it's not just the past, it's your receiving side. And so you could also be receiving a lot of negativity from the world around you or people around you. Okay. Possibly even a male around you or someone you have like shared resources or income with where they're kind of negative, and now here you are, this grown person, who's still in that energy of negativity. And it's like, okay, wow, yeah, it is still here. Old habits die hard for sure, but it is good. It's a good transition. Michelle M. What do I have for you? TikTok, the clock is ticking and we are approaching 11. Looks like 11. Is that literal? No. So that's just on your message. So, when we start to see things like 11 o'clock TikTok, it's approaching, we're talking about things like midnight, we're talking about transitional phase. You may be in like a 9 phase, for example, in life where you're getting ready to wrap something up. It's like the last chapter of this novel, and then we're ready to move on to this, second book in the series or something like that. And I think that one of the things that's happening here for you is that you may be feeling a little overwhelmed. So sometimes when it's like tick-tock, the clock is ticking, we feel it energetically, like something's coming, the winds of change are coming. It can feel a little bit like I call it Chihuahua syndrome, like you're psychically feeling like, something like the other shoe's going to drop, or terrible foreboding maybe. You seem to be pretty peaceful and calm right now, but it is like building this sense of, change is approaching and you don't know what it is. So I think that what you need to be doing right now is taking the reins and deciding exactly what direction you want to go in. There may be changes going on with like your parents. There may be changes going on with family, or even like a love partner, to people around you. Like everyone's got these changes going on that are inadvertently going to affect you as well. So those in your circle, are also part of this. And the important thing for you to do, again, is to take the reins and to say, well, I am going to dictate how I feel about this, how I handle this, how I stay in balance to reduce, any type of stress from change, how I'm not going to overabsorb everyone else's energy, into my energy field. The empathic awareness class is up on the website. You may want to check this out. I teach this at universities. I train therapists. I train educators in this. Understanding what level of empath you are, and you are at the 4th level, and how you accidentally overabsorb, involuntarily overabsorb other people's energy is key, okay, for you. Knowing how to not do that and how to process all of the energy that you have going through you is going to be a key to success here. As you navigate these changes, I also feel like you may be offered some type of it feels like a promotion, but it splits, so it's sort of like, do I want this one or this one? Like, which path do I want to take? So you could be approaching a fork in the road as well. And it's like, okay, like we needed anything else, to add to this. These are all good things. This is all a sign of growth. I mean, no one wants stagnancy, right? But you may need to make some very clear decisions about what you have as long-term goals and a sense of fulfillment within your life contract, not just taking what's going to be easy or staying put because something is familiar. Nicole W. Okay, Nicole W. What do I have for you? I have you writing down some words of sincerity. This is symbolic, unless of course you're doing it, take it how it resonates, maybe both, but it's symbolic of journaling or sending a letter to someone, or just really deciding to tell the truth, to really get honest, even like with your own self, and understanding that for forgiveness or closure, with anyone, even with a circumstance, even with like your past, even with aspects of yourself, right? We don't really need to always give that letter over. We don't always need to send it. Sometimes it's enough just to write it and like tear it up or burn it or release it, or, send it out into the ocean, SOS or whatever. There is this sense of, can you sit down? Can you lay down? I know you can. Will you? Lay down. There's this sense of, I love you through the act of confessing or saying it, getting it out, purging it, right? You gain a lot of clarity and you gain some freedom from, it feels like shackles around your ankles. This could be leading to avoidance or escapism, or feeling like you're never done with healing work, or I'm never done with shadow work, or I'm never done with therapy, or I'm never done. Like, how many layers to the onion can there be? You're getting rid of some of that, but it also is really bringing in new opportunities. So clearing this out is going to allow for some of the things that you've really been needing for change to come in. The change that you want to have. You don't just want any kind of change. You want the right kinds of change. And there could be two different things coming in here. One could also be coming through a person, someone in a position of authority who either does what you want to be doing or knows how to help get you there. All in all, this looks really good, but I do think there needs to be a little more attention spent on that. And also there's talk here of, how long have you been feeling like things are stagnant? And that's not everything in your world, but an area where you're like, this just really doesn't move. It's kind of just one step forward, two steps back, or it's like just right in the same like ballpark. Like, I want movement here. I think this is going to be the solution to that. Felicia S., how are you? I forgot she had all that catnip. So did I. Felicia S., what am I getting for you? You seem to be yelling at someone, and I don't know how in character this is for you really, but I feel like, you know when to growl and you know when to bite. And when you need to bite, you will. I pity the fool. But I do think that in general, it's not your typical approach. Like, you don't go right for the bite. You don't go right for the sting. Someone is pissing you off, though, and I really don't. I wonder if you would hold back because you fear the consequences. And not anymore. It's almost like this can't get any worse, or I have nothing else to lose, or I really don't care. And I'm not saying anyone's going to need to like bail you out per se, but it does seem a little bit as he's getting excited over this message. That's not a good sign. Maybe we'll have to get bailed out. It's very freeing. It's very rejuvenating, honestly. Sometimes you just like let loose on someone, you just tear into them, They had it coming and it feels good. It's a stress reliever. We know that people who don't do this enough have like cancer and tumors and all kinds of problems. People who do vent properly, they do speak their truth. They do fight or confront situations when it's right to do so. They're healthier people. So who cares, maybe what the consequences are, because it wouldn't be worth it for you to hold it in. I think that's a pretty good way to say it. So with the situation approaching you, just, use this as a period of time to sort of set an example. It's almost like you're setting an example, even though you don't see it that way. You don't realize you're being watched. There are eyes on you. It's almost like all eyes are on you. So people are learning from this experience. You're learning a lot about yourself from this experience. And it's coming in, okay, like I said, this is to your future, and it is technically in a free will zone. So it is entirely possible that this person may like back down. It's entirely possible. But, the idea of this person using their free will wisely is not most likely true. And I think that you're done with the days of holding in your voice to keep the peace, just to pollute your soul. Okay? So let them have it. And I think that the more we do this, and this is sort of a general message, this is what we should have been doing all along. We've gotten complacent with inappropriate behavior. When someone is pulling some crap, they need to be put in their place. They need to be publicly humiliated, and we need to be loud. Okay? So you may be doing that, or it's suggested that you do that. Don't take it home with you. All right. We have Ash S. Ash S. What do I have for you? Books, more books being piled up. You seem excited about it. Okay. This is symbolic of you. It could be you writing something. Sure. Could be you communicating something out to the world. Sure. It could also be learning and education. And that's more how I took it. Another book put in front of you, another book, another book. You're learning a lot right now. You're in a period of research, and the books are ones that you want. Obviously, you're choosing these to some degree, but it's more like the universe put them on your path. Okay. So you're taking it and you're going through it. You're picking out the most important parts, and you are applying it to your life. A lot of the things that you seem to be learning are applying directly to your own personal experiences, and then possibly things that other people in your community are experiencing. And so they're connected, okay, in some way. But you want to know more about how to speak your truth, how to cleanse yourself, how to protect yourself, how to defend yourself, how to help others to achieve the same, how to maybe work in group dynamics. I would almost say if you were going back to school, I would almost be like, is this a law degree? I would be like, is this like advocacy? Is this like, what is this? I don't think it's necessarily any of those things. I think that it's the nature of the information, okay, in this research that you're doing. And these don't have to literally be books. This could be YouTube. This could be classes that you're taking. This could be online information or chat rooms. This could be anything, anywhere you gather the research and the info, okay, the data. And again, a lot of it coming directly to you, but it's like at the end of it, it's like this masterpiece. Okay. I see you with this like hat on with like a feather in it, which can be about leadership or like wisdom, or almost like professorship. And I see you with this feather pen, which is symbolic of kind of being in a master position. It's somewhat luxurious. It's very powerful and established. I am very worried. She's going to disconnect me again. Hello, Mama. Sit down. And, obviously, when you have something like a feather pen, that's you writing it out. So right now you're collecting the information, and then you will be putting the information out. Okay. And all of this also feels like record time, and I don't feel like you're racing, but I want to say within the upcoming 2 years, this is going to be making a lot more sense. So fall into it. Good Lord, Mama. That catnip did not chill her out. Okay. Let's see what else is going on. Do we have any? Is this the last call? No, I think we have more coming in here. Okay. I see some of you asking specific questions. That's for the Ask Ivy show, which will be next week, or you could drop an email reading on my website. All right, but this is the Unbound Sage, where I'm delivering out to you whatever is the most important message for you to hear at this time. I'm not taking specific questions tonight. Katie C, what do I have for you? Someone was slowing you down. You just dumped somebody. It's like, I'm dumping this off. You may have done it in a couple different areas. One may have to do with like education, your career, training certifications, this and that. Some is in relationship dynamics, but you dumped this stuff essentially. The image Spirit's showing me here is like out of your car. You were like, get all this crap out of my car. Okay. And you sat there for a while behind the wheel, a little bit like stunned, numb, maybe confused. Which can suggest that you're coming out of a period of time. Okay, you're coming out of a period of time where you were feeling a little bit maybe lost, disempowered, not entirely like you knew how to take the wheel and drive forward and be okay with it. And I think one day you just realize, I don't have to be okay with it. I just have to take the wheel and drive forward. Okay, maybe eventually I'll be okay with it. Maybe I won't, but I can't sit here. You can't just sit there in the middle of the road like that in a car that's perfectly functioning, okay? You have to decide to create movement in your life. And I feel like you got your power back. You took the upper hand. Now, that's been going on more like this past week. Now, where I see you going is I'm seeing like a golden sunset, and I keep seeing birds. So your guides, your ancestors, loved ones have been sending you larger birds. Some of these look like hawks, even eagles. Be watching for these birds coming in reminding you of a couple key things. Okay. So first of all, it is that forgiveness does not ever have to happen in a direct contact with someone else. It's simply deciding that you're not going to let it suck up all your energy and attention. You're detaching from it. Okay. Whatever they did, whatever they caused, whatever, lack of closure maybe you have, you're just detaching from it. I acknowledge it's here. Goodbye. Get that out of my energy field. Okay. So that's going to allow you to fly higher, because you're not weighted down with that energy. The other thing that you need to understand is that the universe is constantly showing you which way to go. All you have to do is to stop being double-minded and getting in your own way and procrastinating. Okay. Your intuition always trumps your logic and your emotion, always. Okay. And when the universe is giving you signs that you need to go this way, that it's time, you need to embrace that without a ton of questioning before that time passes you by. Elvin R, what do I have for you? Elvin R, I have the shades just came off. It's almost like the sunglasses just came off. It's like you can see clearly now. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Well, that is a song, right? That's a song. What song is that? I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Clearly now. The rain. That's old. I don't know what it is. But anyways, so you may want to Google that. Okay. Or somebody drop it in the comments for Elvin. What is that? Send him that link, please. So, this idea of like taking a deep breath, a quiet hallelujah, not like fireworks on the 4th of July, like happy, happy, joy, joy, but like a quiet hallelujah. I've made it to this point. I'm at peace with myself. I'm at peace with my life circumstances. I'm at peace with the universe. I'm in harmony. I'm in balance. I can see clearly. There is an ability that you have now because you've been doing the work. It feels like you've been coming out of some dark, heavy, lower energy. Skeletons in the closet, unfinished business, stuff swept under the carpet, things put up on a shelf collecting dust, conversations that haven't been had or conversations that haven't been complete. Some of that, especially in the last 2, I'm hearing, could it be 2 weeks? It could, but I felt like more like 2 months total. You've been coming up and out of it. This may have been a 6-month process altogether, but essentially where you are now, you are able to move in an energy that is, I want to say, more open instead of controlling, more willing and fluid instead of egotistical, which is fear, manipulation, control, holding on, you're releasing. And that gives you a sense of strength and positivity. And you're approaching things with more question. Like if you get a fearful thought and you would normally get into your ego and control, instead with that fearful thought of like, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this doesn't happen, in the future? What if this goes wrong or da, 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 da? Instead of getting tied up in that, you're just saying, what if it does? What if it doesn't? I don't know. You examine the thought and you release it. You examine the thought and you release it. Okay. Instead of holding it and staying in that energy and getting like a mouse on a wheel in it. This is a mastery. This is a huge skill. And I think you need to celebrate it more. I also think that because the sunglasses are off, you're able to see a few more opportunities that may have already been there, but you couldn't see because it was like the blinders were on. Okay. So like you're seeing things different and you're going to be able to take advantage of those things. And one may be a relationship, a significant relationship of some kind. It feels like feminine energy. This could be like a friendship that you're really investing in. 2 others are connected. One may be like a work opportunity. You may feel like your resources are increasing. I even see some opportunity for like travel trips. Okay. Abundance. Thank you, TikTok. These are all good things, but it's like you couldn't have accessed any of that without this hard work that you did. And even if it was there, I don't even think you could see it before. Okay. So this is a time for celebration. You also have an important phone call coming in. I'm hearing 2. I would say, could it be 2 hours? I mean, it could. I would say probably more like 2 days. So an important phone call or message of some kind coming in that may also help release you. Katie S, what am I getting for you? I see you writing on a chalkboard and who writes on a chalkboard by hand? It almost reminds me of like homeschooling, or like the old school, like Little House on the Prairie. I watch that show sometimes. I'm like, how weird. Like they had these little chalkboards and they were like pencils, but they were chalk. And, this is how they did it back in the day. This is very, I want to say, symbolic of you writing some things out and learning some things, but on a very elementary level. These are some like real basic skills, and you may be going back to the drawing board in a lot of ways. You may be going back to, whether it's like childhood or even within your career, just some basics that you had forgotten about or you never really learned. You may be doing things in your own life right now too, or you need to be anyways, like reparenting yourself, being your own teacher. Sometimes we can look at our family or generational curses, which aren't real, of course, but generational programming is, or societal programming. And we could say, wow, I got gypped, or I got the short end of the stick, or whatever they say, and it's like, I deserve more. I deserve better. Well, then give that to yourself. Well, then reparent yourself, reteach yourself, give that to yourself. But this is very fresh. This is very young, right? This is real basic stuff. And I think that if you're doing this in any other areas of your life, it's going to be really good for you, because you seem to be dealing with this sort of real simple, basic stuff, but enjoying it and taking breaks and being like, well, no, I'm going to pretend I'm the teacher. And so you get out of your little desk and you go up to the teacher's desk, you like eat an apple that you put there, and you act like, I am the teacher now. And you're communicating with yourself in a really sort of loving, supportive way. I think that it's a time in your life where maybe you're realizing that if I don't root for myself, no one else will. If I don't do the work, no one else will. If I don't get down to the basics, no one else will do it for me. And you also want to be able to give that out to other people. And there may have just recently been a situation where you're like, I don't know that I'm entirely ready, or the universe told you you're not ready. You're not ready for the next level. You're not ready to be giving, some of this healing, this teaching, this leadership out to other people, because you haven't finished the work on your own self. And so we're starting with the basics and we're moving on up. This is very, very sweet. I like this a lot. You seem to be enjoying it every step of the way. Pro Joe, what do I have coming up for you? Pro Joe, I have leaves on the trees changing. A second ago, there weren't any leaves on the tree at all. And what that can mean is you were in a period of time where you were looking at your life and you were like, is it dead? Is the tree dead? Like, unless you're a tree expert, a lot of us don't know. When a tree looks bald and bare, you go, could be dead. It could also be winter. I don't know. Is it going to grow leaves? You hope this will lead to prosperity, but you may have been in a period of time where you were looking at your life and you were like, I don't know. Not even necessarily just your life or some aspects of your life, but like even a relationship. You're just like, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to come to life. And now it is. Okay, so now we do see growth. Now we see not only leaves on the tree, but we see even within the last week and a half that the leaves are turning colors. So this, is sort of what we're looking at right now. Even, outside here in the northern hemisphere, it's like, well, we are going through fall, autumn, I think that what's happening here, though, is now that there's going to be progress, that things are moving along. You need to dictate what type of progress. You need to decide, how you want things to grow. What do you want this tree to do? Do you want it to produce fruit? Do you want those leaves to just kind of turn colors and fall off? Which leaves would you keep? What colors are red your favorites? The red, the yellow, orange? What do you want to grab off this tree and keep? It's like you need to be making some decisions that keep the tree healthy and producing. Now, the tree in bloom, suggests not only money prosperity for sure, but because this is hitting a few different aspects of your life, it could also be like networking, projects, people you partner with, relationships, including intimate relationships. And when we see what it may produce down the road, maybe flowers, maybe fruit. We are talking about future investments and trajectory. So I think you have a lot of questions to ask right now about what specifically, how you want to manipulate, your life, your prosperity, your work, your relationships. What direction do you want to head, make it head in? And, so you can guarantee those future blooms. I do wonder if this will create a little bit of like isolation or detoxing, like some letting go for sure, because you can't keep all those leaves. And you will see some things fall away. Okay. So expect some changes, and you don't necessarily have to work at that. Leaves that are going to change, that maybe were bringing prosperity to your life or you were happy with, they could change at any time, kind of like people, right? They could change at any time, and then they will fall off. And it doesn't mean that they won't grow back and come back again later, but for right now, they need to be at peace and they need to be at rest. So you're just letting some of this happen. But regardless, there is no way to see any of this, even though it is some labor and figuring out, there's no way not to see it as prosperity. Okay. It's a big deal. And it feels good to be in a period of time where you're no longer wondering whether or not something is going to, survive and thrive. Yes. Yes, it will. Are we at time? We are at time. Okay. So this is the last call. Last call. If anyone else wants to drop their donation, and I can get your final messages out to you. If we have any feedback or testimonials that came in here, Diana, that you want to pop up, I can sort of read those. I cannot see anything on Instagram or TikTok. Okay. So anyone who's been posting on there, I appreciate you. I am only able to see here on StreamYard though. So Mairead D said, thank you, Ivy. I've been telling myself for so long I need to sit down and read again, but I've been putting it off. Yeah. And, I remember that message with you, Mairead, this feeling of like, these books are right here. They're being put on my path. They're literally right in front of me and I want them. It's like, I want them, and then restricting yourself. It's been a form of self-punishment even. And it's such a great escape for you. I mean, some people hate reading, right? Which is hard to imagine, but for you, it is an elevation of your soul. It's a wonderful, stress reducing and fun escape. I don't care what you're reading. I mean, you could be reading something horrible, a horror novel or something, and it would still feel good to you. So it's the act of reading itself. So give that to yourself. It's not later. It's nope, self-love now. Donique Savala says, this is exactly what's going on. I'm seeing so many people's true colors and I'm just turning off my phone and going to the lake. Okay. I saw that one earlier on here. Yes. Hilarious. I love it. Okay. So you guys can go back and listen to their messages if this isn't making any sense. Lucy says, I am trusting that when I let everyone go, good things will come. Yes, Lucy. It's, every time the bus stops, somebody's got to get off in order for a new door to open. Another door has to close. We have to go through a detox, or, a lot of people call it a sacrifice. We have to go through making space for the new people and right people to come in. And I just want to say this real quick. I did a reading earlier with a client, and, she had a lot of questions about who else could come in and what the next lover should look like. And should I leave this lover for this lover or this one or who and what? And I said, no. It's none of that. Because as long as you're entertaining things that are below you and you already know you don't want, including other humans, okay, you're only going to get more of the same. You have to let it go and prove to the universe that you choose you. You choose a higher vibration, and then we'll see who comes in, okay? But it's kind of like that. Lavender Time says, it makes absolute sense. Thank you. Something I've been working on. I tend to be a giver, supporter, but I never have it returned. Okay. I feel like that's a bit of a general message for everyone here tonight as well. Okay. That we have to be a little bit more mindful, and we may not even care at this point. Okay. So maybe we're beyond that, but to cut people off when they haven't been giving back. People, situations, work obligations, it's time. Vanessa says, yes, Ivy definitely resonates. I'm having more fun with friends and doing my own. I love that. All right. Just celebrating your life. Doing you, doing you. All right. Looks like we are at time. Thanks so much for the feedback, guys. If you guys can, again, give this video a thumbs up, share it. Please do subscribe, drop a comment of any kind. And please do let me know in the comment section right now where you are tuning in from. I will see you next week for my Dear Ivy show, which is my free advice show. So you can ask a question of any kind. It's a play off of Dear Abby, the famous columnist. And then after that, I'll be back with my Ask Ivy show, where you can ask a specific question about your life or to communicate with spirit. I do these shows every Wednesday, and I appreciate your support so that I can continue to do that. If you need to book a reading, a psychic fair, or a party with me, or you want to check out any of the events where I will be, go to Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com. Thank you so much, TikTok. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Spirit and Diana. Have a great night.